All right, what up, guys? It
Hey,
is We Talk. We got your host Carl. We got your co-host Christian.
right here.
Christian just wanted to quickly announce, something that we were thinking. So, do we have a possible name change?
We might have a possible name change. We'll leave it up to you guys. I think our plan is to have a little bit of a poll, open anyone for as long as we're able to either keep it as we talk or maybe go to me and you. Me is in like the little we, me and you, just because there's two of us and we're me.
100%.
So,
MII.
yes,
So we
MII.
also we also dabbled with WII, we chat,
Mm-hmm.
but liked we talk a little bit more. But anyway, we're gonna set up a poll both on YouTube and on Spotify. Please, if you're listening, we'd love you guys to vote. Um, didn't realize that we talk is there's two other podcasts, at least on Spotify. So on
Yeah.
YouTube, there's probably a lot more in terms of that being an IP that is titled. But anyway, super excited to get into today's episode. So, what I and Christian and I have came up with is we would like to do a segment that we like to call Top Five Hidden Gems Nintendo Edition. So, Christian and I are going to share our screens and just go through five of our hidden gem games. Christian and I have actually not talked, about what we have for hidden gems. So, curious if we have any duplicates. Hopefully, we do not.
Yeah, I hope so.
But if it's a little bit too annoying doing the back and forth, and we're just gonna go through five and then switch it. But Christian, would you like to do the honors, or would you want me to start?
Sure, I can go first here. Let me
Fantastic.
share my screen. It's going to be on the wrong thing first. But my first hidden gem, I think, is Paper Mario 64, the one that kind of started all off. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's probably in my top 10. I just love the Paper Mario series a ton. And I think this one is talked about the least out of any of the Paper Marios. The other ones are talked about as being really crappy, the like newest three. And then the older ones, like Thousand Year Door comes after this. That's everyone's favorite. Super Paper Mario, the one in the way people love that game. But I think anytime I think of myself going to the 64, this is the game that I play. And I always beat it every time. There's just so much in the game, and it is one of the best looking N64 games by a long shot. It is very, very pretty because it is 2D and not 3D for the most part. There's like a few 3D things in there. It doesn't look really bad. Like I think it ages very well. Even for like the modern TVs, you don't need to play it on a CRT or anything. And it's just a really good Paper Mario game. Like it's solid. The combat is good. Every single buddy is really good. They're all fun to use. The story itself is pretty fantastic. I think it's like Mario's first game where there's like Bowser's the bad guy, but there's a ton of new things. I mean, like Boo being a helpful character, all the bosses are brand new with their own themes and they're all bangers. Every single boss theme is so good. And there's a lot of different ways to kind of play the game with badges being a really fun concept. And then they have a bunch of like side quest stuff like recipes. There's a whole battle dojo where you can battle like the hardest guys ever, which is really fun. And the game itself is just really good. Just a really solid game. And I would say one of the most underrated games ever, but also on the N64. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this came out before any Mario RPG. Is that correct? Did
um,
Mario RPG, the original on the 64, come out?
Super Mario RPG came out on the SNES
Oh,
before
it was
this.
SNES. Never mind, because I was gonna say, dang, I was on the. I don't know why I thought I was on the 64. Um, Yeah, because I was like the badge system was something that I thought was introduced in Paper Mario, but maybe not.
I think so. I don't know if there's badges in Super Mario RPG. Not like Paper
I've
Mario
never
where
played the
badges.
SNES version, so
No, I have because I got it for the Wii U for a little bit before our Wii U broke, and there's no real badge system. Nothing like this at least.
yeah, oh
So
yeah. No,
it's
this was a super unique pull, definitely underrated. So there's a couple in the series that are underrated. Easily the first three are super underrated. So and definitely a
yeah,
hidden gem for sure.
yeah. Well, all right. I'll let you share your next one here.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's on the wrong game. Dang.
Like you can.
Dang it. All right. I spoiled the first one, but my first is Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Wii. If you are a Kirby fan and you have never played this game, you are doing yourself a complete disservice to video gaming. Not only is this phenomenal as a single player game, but the introduction of being able to play with three other people, so four people in your same living room, going through levels, playing bosses at the same time is so much fun. Um, Kirby's obviously just way better than the other characters because he can, do a lot of the cool stuff. Obviously, Kirby's the main mascot, so he's going to be able to whip out the Mega Sword. He's going to be able to change different power ups and stuff. But being able to be, is it a Waddle Dee, the spear
Waddle Dee,
guy? Waddle
Bandana
Dee.
D,
I loved
Bandana
him. I thought he
D.
was so unique. They all have a ton of attacks that are super unique. Actually, if you go into the info section of everyone's attack, there's a ton of different attacks. So it's not like Kirby's just, way more fun. There's tons of levels, tons of great bosses, super fun to play with your friends. I mean, this is just such a hidden gem. If you've never played this Kirby game and you're a fan of Kirby games, it's fantastic. Also, I have no idea why it's E10 plus. I mean, what's up with the rating, guys? Come on, Nintendo. That makes no sense. What would constitute this to be E10 and plus?
The final boss is scary. Ooh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, that made me cringe just looking at it. But yeah, so that is my first hidden gem game for the Wii.
This one, before you, oh, okay.
Oh, my
I
bad.
just wanted to say the only issue I have with this game is just because it's on a Wii, there's only three buttons. There's like two, one, and the moving button.
That is true.
It is very good. I mean, Kirby games are short as a whole, but this one is like top two Kirby games I've ever played.
Yeah, easily,
It's so
easily.
good.
It's so much
Replaying it is a
fun.
lot of fun.
All
All
right, back
right.
to you, Cree.
All right. I'm gonna get my second one here. I'm gonna piggyback off the Wii game that you just shared with a
Okay.
Wii game of my own. Let me share screen here. This is my underrated
Okay.
for the Wii. Punch Out for the Wii. This one right here. I love the original Punch Out. It's like one of my favorite NES games, just period. I mean, it's so good. And this one is just everything that you love about the original, but just turned a little better, like just polished. Every character kind of like they speak in their own language of their own country outside of King Hippo, who's from Hippo Island, so he just makes
What?
noises. But they speak in their own language, which is kind of nice. They took out a lot of the racism. I mean, that's a little bit of a thing with Punch Out, but just how polished the game looks. They how it works is like, you fight a guy, if you beat him, you move on to the next guy all the way until the champion. But then when you beat the story mode, you play it again, except they're all powered up. Like Glass Joe, this little guy right here. He is just a coward and terrible, and you can beat him without even knowing the controls. And then when you play him in the run back, he's got like a gear on his head to make him a lot tougher. So each refight is almost more like a puzzle that you have to learn how to like knock off whatever their gear is or do some sort of thing to beat them. And it's significantly harder. So it's just an absolute ton of fun. I haven't even finished all the refights yet. And not to spoil too much, but there's actually two secret fights in this game where you can actually fight Donkey Kong. I don't know if you knew that, but you can fight
No, I
Donkey
know. I had no idea.
and he is freaking impossible. I've never played him, but I've seen a guy try and he got his butt handed to him.
Is he the
So
champion? Like the
he's
fight
not the
champion?
champion. He's like a secret thing. I don't even know how to unlock it, but he is the hardest guy in the game. Is Donkey Kong by far.
It's sick.
And then I think Doc Lewis is another guy you can fight.
No way. The trainer.
Who's pretty
Dude.
rough, but it's just a super fun game. I absolutely love this game, and the charge punches feel like there's more of a cut scene
Mhm.
kind of when you hit them, and oh man, very satisfying when you actually beat a boss.
It's funny you said that, Christian, because I was gonna do the original NES Punch Out for one of my five, just because, man, I remember when you and I played it for the first time, it was like, holy crap, old games can be good. Old games
Mhm.
can be like fun. Like that was really one of the really old games that we played where it was like, holy crap, this is a fantastic game. I mean, not a lot of people our age are playing NES games. I mean, realistically, I mean, Punch Out compared to like the original Legend of Zelda, I mean, Punch Out is a million times better. You can love Legend of Zelda all you want, but if you're not able to agree on that, then I don't know, we're at a loss.
Yeah, and with stuff like the original Mario Bros, like that's like the classic Nintendo
Yeah,
games. You can beat that game in like 15 minutes. Punch Out is, I guess, similar, but man, you really got to work at it. You got to memorize everything. And Mike Tyson slash Mr. Dream is the hardest thing I've ever tried to do and can't do it. I have not been able to beat him. So
yeah. If you have beat Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson in Punch Out, you automatically are coined gamer OG. All right,
yeah,
you got your gamer badge. Wear that as a a prideful honor that you walk around with every day.
yeah. Well, all right. That's my game here. I'll let you kind of hop on to yours now.
I'm gonna have to do mine backwards. So
Next hidden
the
gem.
next one is Pokemon trading card game for GBA. Is it?
Oh, I
Oh no,
can't.
is it not sharing? I thought it was shared.
No, it's not sharing
Oh, I'm
yet.
tweaking. Um, Here we go. But yeah, Pokemon trading card game. If you were a Pokemon fan and you've never played the trading card game in real life, if you have Pokemon cards and you have never played this game, you need to play it. It is super, super underrated. Was actually, I believe, the introduction to both Christian and I to playing the trading card game was this game.
Yeah,
Super fun. Being able to collect all the OG cards. It's sort of just like Pokemon during a normal run through where there's, badges, gym leaders, but it's just the trading card game. You have a rival, and then there's like the Elite Four, there's legendary cards. Super, super fun. The collection version's awesome. They have a really cool side character. They've got people you can trade with. I honestly have no idea why Pokemon never made another, you know, sequel to this or made multiple versions. I think that this is an untapped cash cow for Nintendo. If Nintendo pulls one of these out for the Switch 2, I'd like a cut. I'd like a cut because this is an untapped cash cow for them. I think, well, maybe not because TCG Pocket actually is like
I was gonna
damn near
say
making like
TCG
tons of millions.
Pocket, TCG Online. They kind of moved it into like the mobile game arena.
No, 100%. Yeah, you're actually right. This probably wouldn't sell that well as a video game now, but super hidden gem, super big hidden gem. You have to play it if you like Pokemon and are open to the TCG. Super fun.
I was gonna say here, I just had a real feeling that this was gonna be on your list because it was like number 5 on mine, and I switched it last
No.
second because I was like, I know Carl's gonna talk about this game. Because what I like most about it is you can replay this game multiple times because of the different starter decks you get, and you play
Yeah.
the game in a different order,
Hmm.
which I think is really cool. There's not like one specific way to play. You can kind of fight the gym leaders any way you want as long as you do whatever their condition is. And I think that gives this game a lot more replayability. So
No, I'd say 100%. So, super fun. It's fun. If you like opening packs in real life, opening it in the game is just as fun. It's the same
yeah,
as like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just as fun, honestly. But I'll stop and you can go to yours.
okay. I'll go to mine here. I will go to the next one here. This is my contribution for the old games. Earthbound, I think, is the best SNES game, hands down, no questions asked. I know that could be a hot take. Some people love Super Mario World or A Link to the Past,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Super Mario RPG, but I think this game really broke the mold for a lot of different stuff. It is an RPG that's very similar to a bunch of stuff, but it had a lot more options than just like fight and item. There were things like pray and guard, and I really liked the magic system that they had. Only certain characters could use their PSI magic. And the really cool thing that I liked about this is if an enemy dealt a mortal hit to you, like you were gonna die, you had an HP bar that would slowly tick down, and then when it hit 0 was when you would die. So say they hit you 3 times, you're supposed to be dead, but you use a healing item before it hits 0, you're still alive, which I thought was really cool. And the story is fantastic. I mean, it is just everywhere you go is so beautiful. The characters are pretty complex. You learn a lot about the world. They do a really good job of kind of building the world around you, with a ton of side stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of jokes in this game. It's a really funny. There's a guy called Dungeon Man who he's an entire dungeon. He's just a big rock guy with a nose, and they call him Dungeon Man, and you have to traverse him because he thinks it's fun. And there's just a bunch of ducks in there. I don't know. It
What?
is such a great game. I mean, it's a ton of fun. All the bosses are really great. The themes are really good. There's a whole gimmick with these guys called Mr. Saturns, which you probably know from like Smash Bros. Is an
Yeah.
item. And their whole thing is their like text is just terrible handwriting. It's just awful handwriting. So you can barely even understand what they're saying. There's a part where you fall down this hole and you have to get a book for these little gremlins that need help with their self-confidence, and you have to fight a bunch of dinosaurs to do it. It's just so much fun. I absolutely love this game. It's one of my favorite RPGs I've ever played. Really solid game. I think it's one of the best hidden gems on the SNES for sure.
No, 100%. And I really haven't played it a whole lot, but I have played a little bit. I remember back in the day when you got it. And it felt like so like besides all the crazy magic, you start out as a normal kid. It's almost like relatable in the beginning. I remember you have a dog, you have a family, all of a sudden aliens come down and it's like, oh, my entire universe that was normal is now flipped upside down. And you just learn a lot about how the infiltration of them completely changes your perception as a little kid or whatever, or a young boy. So I always
Yeah.
thought that that was pretty cool.
No,
But
it's
I haven't really played it, so I can't really say too much on it. But uh, easily underrated and such a hidden gem for sure.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. There's some dark things in this game. There's some really bright stuff. It's all about hope. It's a solid game. Really, really good. Very hidden gem. All right, I'll let you kind of take the next one
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I bet. All right, we're going to the next. The next is Rocket Slime. I'm out here. I'm moving the toolbar, but Rocket Slime. People probably have heard of Dragon's Quest. I mean, there's tons of Dragon Quest games, but this is a super unique game. Basically, what you see that little tear droplet is what's called a rocket slime. And basically, it's a bunch of tank battles. It's super hard to explain without showing any sort of like video of it. But basically, you're trying to find your slime friends from bad guys, and then there's tank battles. It's so much fun. It's such a cool mechanic. You're throwing stuff in your tank. You have helpers. Whoever destroys their tank first wins. But super underrated game. If you have a DS, if you're open to a sort of different game, definitely give this a try. I mean, it's created by Square Enix or the gaming. What's it called? The studio Square Enix. So highly recommend you try it. It's pretty funny. A lot of content in there. It is fairly easy, but super fun nonetheless.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of side stuff because there's like a main story and then just like a tank battle mode as well, where you can kind of rank up doing harder and harder fights. And how the like leveling up system works is basically you find items out in the wild and then you bring them back to your town and you kind of combine things to make bigger and better things to throw at the other guy. And there's all these sort of intricate mechanics. And it's like the closest thing to like a tower defense game,
Yeah.
like the closest thing I think I can
Oh
compare
yeah.
it to. And it's just a ton of fun. I mean, moving as a rocket, you can like the movement is very simple, but you can use it in a lot of different ways where you basically just stretch and then shoot at the other guy. So you just like stretch really long and then go wheel. And that is a lot more intricate than you might think. And it's just a ton of fun. A lot of fun to move around. The tank battles, every single one of them are good. I just love this game. So,
No, 100%. I'll give it back to you.
all right. Let me share my screen. I just don't want to spoil the next one here.
No, you're
My
good. I
next
did that.
one here is my contribution to the
Ooh.
Pokemon game, Pokemon Ranger Guardian Science. Now, Carl and I have played, I think, all the Pokemon Ranger games.
Yeah.
There's like three or four of them out there, and this is the newest one. I think it's the most polished. It's really, really good. I mean, all the Ranger games have something to them, but this one was my favorite. Granted, it was the easiest, and when I was a dumb kid, I could actually beat this one. But the whole point is you basically draw circles around a Pokemon, and that sounds horribly boring. but it is not at all. I mean, having Ukulele Pikachu, who's not only a cute little mascot, but also extremely helpful in there. Whenever you catch a Pokemon, you can use them in your battles trying to catch other ones to kind of make it easier. There's like type advantages still. And the story itself is really solid. But the whole gimmick of this game is whenever you would fight a legendary as like a boss, you would be able to use it and ride it around the map. So like Entei, Raikou, Suicune had different things. Raikou could jump really high. Entei would be able to like climb mountains, and Suicune could run on the water.
Hmm.
You could also fly around in the sky in this game. There would be sections where you
Yeah,
would fly around on Star Raptors or dive deep down the bottom of the ocean, and you'd like turn your DS similar to like Bowser's Inside Story type of thing.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was a ton of fun. Music was solid. The main story was great, but there was also a separate section where you would go back in time with Celebi and do like ancient battles, kind of similar to like regular Ranger, where
Hmm.
you wouldn't really have your sidekick and you'd have to do it on your own. And you could actually do that stuff online back in the day. We could never really do that, but I'm sure it would have been great because man, doing that online with other people sounds like a real blast. But this game had a lot of side stuff too, which was a lot of fun. So
No, dude, why this one was the most fun was because I think this was the one that introduced if you caught a Pokemon and used it in battle to help capture a different one, you could keep it. It wasn't
yeah,
like a one use.
didn't
So
go
when
away.
that was introduced, because we didn't, this wasn't the first one we played. We played, one, two, three, whatever. And I remember when I noticed that, I was like, no effing way. Because back in the other ones, you literally have to grind to get the best ones to have a one-time use to help you get, whatever the best or use them for the bosses. This was like peak. This was like peak. That was like probably the best enhancement to this game that you could ever make. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, I mean, that's probably what made it a lot easier was not having to like go get your favorite one that would have the type advantage for the boss that you have. But man, this one was so underrated. I couldn't rave about this one enough, honestly.
Yeah, no, solid. And something that I also really liked about it is each, I mean, they're called guardian signs, so there were these intricate designs you had to draw on your DS to like summon them. And you could actually summon really hard bosses like, don't want to spoil too much, but like Ho-Oh was a big boss
Yeah,
that you could fight, stuff like that was just so good. Very, very fun. Yeah, I'll pass it off on to you here.
bet. All right.
Is this the last one or do we have one more
No, I think I
each?
got two.
Okay, two more.
But my next one is A Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. So this might be a hot take because this sold millions of copies. So it's hard to say, oh, this is a hidden gem game. But I think this doesn't get enough recognition for being one of the best Zelda games to be ever be created. Um, I played A Link to the Past before this, loved it. It was one of my favorite games ever in terms of the Legend of Zelda series. But this one, man, I mean, I just love this one a lot more. I can't believe they made a remake or revamp. I mean, this is really a revamp. It's not even a remake, but they made it so much better. The renting the item system, the gimmick. A lot of games introduce a gimmick and it's just dog. It's horrible. It's completely awful. But this was so awesome. They made the dungeons more interesting because of the gimmick. The map stayed the same, but it was just so much fun. I mean, I could rave about this so many times. It's really one of the only Zelda games where I've replayed it more than once, just because of how much fun it was. If you are a Legend of Zelda fan and you've never played this, you have to play it. It's easily a top three Zelda game, and that's a hot take. That you know what I might take that back, but it's one of the best Zelda games ever. It's definitely a hidden gem if you have not played it.
I will say I am the biggest Zelda hater of all time. I cannot stand Zelda games. I think they're all boring and terrible. And this one single-handedly changed my mind. I watched you play a good chunk of Link to the Past, and I was like, man, this game looks terrible. It is just
I
so
thought it looked
monotonous.
good, bro.
Some of these things, like not necessarily how it looked, but just like how it played.
Okay,
I was like,
yeah.
man, that is just not fun. But this one, the whole gimmick where you kind of
I mean, it's
go
spoiled in the
wall.
picture.
Yeah, I mean, where you go between walls was really good. It's just like you took Link to the Past, which is already a solid game, and you just polished every single part of it. Sorry,
Literally.
my roommate's getting home and my dog's gonna bark. So I'll pass it off to you and mute myself for a second.
You said what?
My roommate's getting home and my dog's barking. I gotta calm them down. So just give me 1 second
Yeah, you're
here.
good. You're good. I could talk about it a little more honestly. Um, Being that it is on the 3DS and not the SNES, it plays so amazing. Anyone who has a 3DS or a DS knows how great the movement is on like most of the games. Being able to move diagonally and stuff really makes the holy shit. Looking at Jack was hilarious. Um, but being able to look or not look but move around so seamlessly was fantastic. The movement was so amazing. Um, Really cannot stress enough how awesome this was. They even introduced a lot of different hidden chests and different things outside of that, which just was so fantastic. I really couldn't rave about this one enough. But I'm going to stop sharing and give it back to Christian. So I'm assuming he's ready soon. But if you're listening right now, I want you guys to vote right now. Do we keep the name WeChat or we talk? Excuse me. We talk, WeChat, or me and you. Those are the three options. I'm adding in WeChat. I haven't talked to Christian about it, but I think it's solid. I just can't believe when we started it, there was already two Wii-Talk podcasts. It's super crazy. So do us all a favor and vote right now. Do the poll.
Yeah, please, guys. I'd really appreciate the poll. All right. Thank you for that, Carl. I'm gonna move on to my next game. This is my last one. Here it is. Pretty unexpected pick here.
Ooh,
This is known for having some of the worst games on it. I mean, the Wii U itself is just not a good console, doesn't have very many good games. I think this might be one of the best party games just ever. It's kind of like the Wii's Wii Play or Wii Sports, like the tech demo. It's going to show off the gamepad.
yeah,
But almost every single one of those mini games that have to do with you and one other person are very good. The Link one is so much fun. The Pigman one is surprisingly good. All the multiplayer ones we were fighting against each other, like the Luigi Mansion one, where one guy's a ghost and there's three people with flashlights. So much fun. Animal Crossing one, as simple as just picking up candy, and one guy has to control two different dogs with a fork and a knife, running around chasing each other. I mean, this little screenshot kind of shows you all the different games where you play tag as Mario and the Toads. I remember putting hours and hours into that, and I think it was one of the most accessible games. I mean, any person we would hang out with, we would say, "Hey, this game, very easy to understand." And anyone that wasn't a gamer could come over, play it, enjoy for hours. I mean, I think this is one of the most casual, accepting games ever, just out there. Really hidden gem.
yeah. It's crazy because it's almost hard sometimes to say, oh man, this is a hidden gem because you could buy a Wii U with this game, but if you have not played it, I mean, you are just completely missing out on party game S tier. Being able to play tag virtually is something I never thought would be possible, or that almost sounds like such a stupid concept. Like how is that even possible? And it completely works and it's completely fun. There's a Metroid version where all you guys are attacking the mothership as Samus. Link's Adventure as a single player. I mean, this one was fantastic. And to piggyback off what Christian said, yeah, I mean, we had tons of friends who weren't gamers, never really played video games outside of like Madden and 2K. A lot of my, the people we played basketball with in high school, they'd come over and they got super into it. I mean, it was super fun, super easy to understand. One of the best party games ever. I mean, easily one of the best party games ever. Super, super underrated and definitely a hidden gem. If you never had the Wii U or never played it, you need to play it. You need to get three other friends and you have to play Nintendo Land. I'm very
Yeah,
passionate about it.
must play. Must play. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to stop it over to you here.
Bet. All right. Let me pull it up. Um You know what, Christian? I think this last one deserves an ultra. I think it deserves a drum roll, man. I mean, this one is one that I think you will be very, very shocked at that I say.
Drum roll here.
I need to slap the table. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it.
It's been louder.
I'm not hearing it. I'm joking. Let me pull this up. All right. My pick is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, Vancouver 2010. All right.
Oh my
I know
God.
Christian's very
So
shocked by
funny.
this, but this game is one that I put so many hours into in the Wii. Not only is being Sonic and competing in an Olympic game completely badass, but there was a completely different section in this outside of any other Mario and Sonic Olympic game where you could earn tickets, buy skins, buy customizations to your snowboard, right? Your ski. They had a freaking mode where it was snowball fight, virtual snowball fight. Are you kidding me? That is like a kid's dream. That is like elite video game party game. I mean that's insane. Being able to play a snowball fight with all your friends with power ups, being your favorite Nintendo characters is effing insane. Um, yeah, there and in this mode they introduced it was like a story mode where you literally went through all of the different game modes and competed against all the other characters. It was super competitive. This is a
They
series
had
if you have not checked out is completely underrated and such a hidden gem. This is so much fun and it definitely holds up today. This is a fantastic game.
with that story mode, there were actually like boss fights where you would play like villains from the series, whether it be like Eggman, King Boo, Vector, like whatever, in their special events. And it was just a ton of fun to play through. I played through this a few years ago recently because I was like, oh, I haven't played this in a while. Is it okay? And it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And all the dream events to play with your friends, I would say this is some of the best ones. They have some of the best dream events, which have like power ups and stuff. That snowball fight one is by far the best.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
the
that one's fun.
snowball fight. I was when I was thinking of ones to do, I had to look up a list. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is immediately going on there. I remember when it came out, we actually went to one of our friends' houses, who we went to school with. We played it all night. It was like, holy crap, this is better than Smash Brawl at this point. This is better
Yeah.
than Mario. This is literally better than any game that's out on the Wii right now. This is elite. This is such an elite game. Super, super fun. I literally cannot rave about it enough. But yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen. So Christian has another surprise, I believe.
Another surprise that you guys might have already seen coming if you watched our last video. But I got another one of these bad boys. Paldea Evolved Pokemon. Dave and Buster's, please sponsor us. I go there all the time.
Even Buster's. I thought you were gonna say
I,
GameStop or Costco or something.
nope. I go to Dave and Buster's because I pay tickets, not real money. So it doesn't feel like I'm throwing $1 million in the garbage.
Elite.
Yeah. Let me just make sure I got the right one here.
So
Get the code
Spotify
card.
listeners,
Anyone that
you
matters.
want the coupon code. If you want to see what Christian pulls, you got to hop on our YouTube.
Hop
Should be
on.
the
All right,
same.
here it
Should
is.
be WeChat or
We got
WeTalk. Excuse me.
Electric Energy. We got a Rookie D. Magnemite. Phalanx. Solid Bond.
Suspense, dude. I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
We got a Combi. Ooh, that's a big charm, right? Bravery charm.
Bravery charm looks just like a sack.
We got Gotharita.
Yo.
Honchkrow. We got a Hollow Wigglytuff.
Oh, oh.
We got, what is that?
Oh, that's
Fighting
not the last one.
Hourglass. And a Spiritomb. Hollow Spiritomb.
All right.
There you guys go.
You can
That is
tell how
our
excited Christian is by the way he said, "Hollow Spiritomb, guys.
Spiritomb. Definitely not an EX or a
Can we get
rare.
a can we get a woohoo in the chat, guys?
Woo! Yeah.
Woohoo!"
If you guys ever want to send us any Pokemon packs, we'll after 100 followers, we'll set up a PO box for all of you guys to send us your stuff, and we'll
100%.
take it and open it here, as long as it's safe for work. Preferably
Safer
only
word.
Pokemon packs.
Honestly, if we set up a PO box, I want you guys to send us anything. Literally anything you can think
Okay,
of. It
no,
could
not
be
any.
completely dangerous as possible to as silly as a balloon.
Please,
We
please
want
do
we
not
want
pee in a
extremely
jar and bring it to us,
radioactive and
please.
atomic bioweapons shipped to our PO box, please, when we set this up. But anyway, if you guys got to the end of the episode, really, really appreciate you guys listening. Christian and I are really, really passionate about this, and we're having a lot of fun. But if
Yeah,
you guys wanted to vote, and by if you wanted to, we're urging you to please
please
vote.
vote.
If we
Please
keep our
vote.
name, We-Talk, and I keep saying WeChat. I've said it about freaking 6, 7, 8 times. It's my own podcast or our own podcast, and I keep saying our podcast wrong. So WeChat, I'm adding that in the mix, or me and you, yeah.
Yeah,
MIIANDU.
yes.
Me
And
and
also,
you.
guys, don't forget, we'll be starting a YouTube channel here once we get that name solidified.
So
We're there for you
YouTube
guys. We got a
YouTube's
YouTube so you
actually
can
up.
watch it there as well. It is up,
It
but
is
we need
up.
to
Yeah,
change
we
the
I
name so
posted
we
our
might have
last podcast. It should be We Talk. But any
to.
any updates are going to be sent out on Spotify as well as YouTube.
Yes.
So follow that up. We're also
And
probably
if
going to
you
make a
follow
couple
YouTube,
socials. What's up?
leave a comment on the YouTube.
Leave a comment,
Like,
guys.
here's a
Come on,
comment. Tell
leave
us
a
what you
comment.
think. If you're like, hey, this sucks, guys, do this. We'll be like, thank you. We'll take your suggestions and we'll work on whatever we got to work on here.
I'm going to
So,
be honest. I love extremely negative and harsh criticism. So the harsher the better. The more negative, the better. We don't want any night. We don't want any compliments. We don't want anything like, "Hey, great episode, guys," or "Yeah, I agree." We want complete cold takes from you guys. We want the most negative things possible,
all you talked about were popular games. We wanted real hidden gems.
and
It's like, ah,
that's a fair opinion. All right, we're
thank
gonna be
you,
open,
commenter.
100%.
Yeah,
But yeah, thanks again, guys. Leave a like, comment, follow, subscribe. Christian's got a whole two
YouTube.
cents in his hand.
Got a fan.
If that,
25 cents
I
rolling
think
in
that's
it.
even
Always
worth
say.
25 cents. All of those.
Nope. Probably not.
All right. Well, fair enough. But anyway, we're gonna head off and stay
Yeah.
tuned for the next week's podcast. So we were gonna do it every Wednesday. Actually, hold up. This is a good thought to talk about for the last minute.
Yeah.
We might do it every Thursday now. That
Yeah.
might be an
Every
every
Wednesday,
Thursday
every
thing.
Thursday, kind of around that area with our busy lives changing. We'll keep you guys when we got a more solid schedule, but that's what it's looking like for now. So
Yeah. But
yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
can I get a salute? Not an Elon salute, just a normal, cool. Yep, Boy Scout. We
Boy
blow.
Scout. Boy
We were
Scout.
we blows.
I got my not tying badge. So
I don't think I have any badges, but
he's got to go potty outside again.
all
So
right.
I it's
Let him
my
out.
time to
Let him
leave.
out to potty, Creehen.
All right. See you
All right,
guys.
peace.